A funny property related story. Oh wow. There's been so many property related stories where I thought, are they being serious? Is this tenant being serious? One of my first experiences as a property manager was getting involved with the sale of a mixed use property in Kensington, and the owner of the property said that the upper parts were vacant, so there wasn't anybody living up there because he was trying to sell it. Lo and behold, I was taking the agent around that had just been instructed, and bearing in mind I was a young 21-year-old who had just moved to London from the southwest of England, I'd not really seen too much. I walked in on the owner of this property's son with two women in a bed, and I was like, oh my gosh, this is meant to be an empty property. What's happening? I kind of run down the stairs and stood outside, really red-faced, but thinking back on it, it should never ever have been me that was embarrassed. That young man should not have been in there, and when his dad found out, he went absolutely mad. So that was my first experience. Since then, funny stories, well, evicting a tenant and finding 3 blow-up sex dolls in a coffin. I mean, that's a bit gross. It was a bit of a weird experience, but the contractors who went in there to strip out the room thought it was hilarious. They were laughing for days. Again, not a funny story, but a really nasty commercial tenant. Actually, it is quite a funny story. One of their staff members left in a rage and went to the toilet on the floor before they left. And the commercial tenant had got in contact with me to ask me if I'd clear it up, and I was like, that's all on you. You really have to sort that out. I would instruct a really good cleaning team, or simply pick it up yourself with the dog poo bags from the dog that you have in the office. I've had a lot of that. Oh, finally, up by Stamford Bridge football ground, all you Chelsea supporters, I managed a property there where the tenant was adamant that she was going to be able to get a footballer. So on game days, she would go up and lie naked on the roof of this property in the hope to attract one of the footballers as they drove past. Now, I do not think that you're getting footballers driving up and down on their own on the Fulham Road or the Kings Road, and chances are they would have been at the ground for hours before the game started, but she was adamant that that was her way of attracting a footballer. And when she heard all of the fans walking past, she'd stand up and wave from the balcony on the top of the building. I mean, whatever floats your boat, I guess. She never did find the love of her life doing that, but I wished her all the best when she moved out and hope she was going to another place where that's what she wanted to do. So I've seen a lot. Those aren't the only stories, but they're definitely some of the first things that spring to mind when you ask me some of the more funniest stories that have happened in my time in property.